and that they arrived at 93 hours, 11 minutes, which is still a record in itself. Gentlemen, a proud moment for Nigeria. We heard there's another lady, a chef in Ekiti, who is attempting to break this record. We'll come to that in a bit. But let's start with this audacious move by Hilda.
Well, the story of Hilda Baci is that of resilience, is that of passion. I think there are lessons to learn from Hilda. Not everybody will be involved in a cookathon, or not everybody is a chef, but it shows that it strengthens the lesson that where there's a will, there's a way. It means that young people can have a passion and follow it through. It means that negative circumstances do not necessarily have to determine the fate of an individual. It's a good thing that Hilda Baci has put Nigeria on a world map with regard in respect of this cookathon. And it's also a challenge for many young people of our age. We have young people of our age who are into prostitution. We have girls who think that, well, the only way they can make it, the only way they can survive, the only way they can survive the horse is to do what they call hookup, which is the glorified name for prostitution. I think this should encourage many Hildas there who have a passion. So people should follow their passion. Regardless of the inclement situations, it is possible to make it in this country and make it honestly.
And talking about inspiring other young Nigerians, we see a young lady, Chef Damilola in Ekiti State, who has already broken the 100 hours record, although that has not been ratified by the Guinness World Record. But of course, we've seen a lot of people who are already indicating desire to break this record. But let's give it to Hilda. She set the pace. And what is the implication or the impact this will have on the mentality of Nigerian youths generally?
Well, she has set a pace, and also, just before we came into the studio, I read that somewhere in Kano, another person has started raising up for our own session. It is a good thing, and I want to differ a little bit. About 2-3 weeks ago, I wrote in my column, which is published online, about between a book fair and cookathon. We have seen so much has been said and done about her. Good. We'll give it to her, and whatever competition that is that will ginger youths to do things that is noble, fine. But in this same Nigeria, in this same Lagos, last year, if I'm not mistaken, there was a guy, Bayode Treasures Olawumi, who embarked on the book reading for 120 hours. And the Guinness World Record has recognized that. There was no...
There was no euphoria.
Exactly. So, cooking is... I'm not saying it's not noble, it's not good, but we need also to encourage people in other things
beyond the merriment and the social lifestyle and all that.
As I argued in my piece, beyond the show, what else are we going to gain from this? But if the guy that did that reading for 120 hours, not one single government official visited him. Not one known person visited him and gave him a pep as we had for Hilda Baci. So, when we now complain or we talk about people are no longer doing noble things or they are no longer facing education and all that, it is because of things like this. Because if the guy who did the reading had got the same kind of support,
more Nigerians would have tried, would have attempted that as well.
Exactly. But now, now
it's a food everybody's attempting.
Exactly. Nigeria is a thing of, you have done something, you are successful,
I can equally match it.
And that is exactly
the bandwagon kind of.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. We'll come to this. We'll still dwell a bit more about this conversation. But let's welcome Babajide Kolade Otitoju into the conversation. He joins us via Zoom from Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. Babajide, good to see you from the other side of the conversation. But let's bring you up to speed now. The Hilda Baci attempt has been confirmed by the Guinness World Record, even though it's been beat down to 93 hours. And we've seen other Nigerians trying or attempting to even surpass that. What's your reaction to this?
Well, it's a good thing. It's a thing of joy for me and for many Nigerians that after this log with the Guinness Book of World Records have eventually confirmed that Hilda is the new holder of the world record for the cooking marathon. Hilda must consider herself very lucky because, and you see, there's a lesson in this. When you push yourself so hard, you are doing yourself a big favor. 7 hours was deducted from the number of hours that Hilda logged. If Hilda had not pushed herself further, at the point when she successfully erased the record set by the Indian woman, Lotana, which she erased earlier on during the competition. If she had not pushed herself, a little further, the deduction of 7 hours, which according to the Guinness World Record was because she spent longer time than necessary during the breaks in between those hours, because you are entitled to 5 minutes of break, after consecutive hours. During the 5 minutes, you can eat, you can have your bath, and you can sleep. During that, you can imagine she was said to have spent in excess of the time permitted by the rules. So they deducted 7 hours from her time. So if she had not pushed herself to 100 hours, the deduction of 7 hours would inevitably have cost her the record. But thanks to Nigerians who are urging her on, who are encouraging her, who are singing and hailing her, she felt the need to add to the hours so that it will be a lot more difficult for anyone to erase her own record. So this is what eventually helped Hilda to erase the mark set by the Indian woman. So it is a lesson that when you have a dream and you pursue it vigorously, you will be rewarded with success. It's a happy day for Nigerians, because many Nigerians thought that Hilda had lost it because of that delay. And during that period, she was said to have posted a picture of herself and some of her friends eating dog meat. And some Nigerians decided to tag the Guinness World Record pictures of Hilda eating dog meat, perhaps to get them to not recognize her
Animal
as
rights
record
issues
holder.
and all that.
So, at the end of the day, she set the mark, and he has also encouraged other Nigerians to do their own cooking marathon. The woman in Ekiti State says she wants to do 120 hours. She has already gone past the halfway mark. It looks inevitable that she'll be able to do the 120 hours. And unlike Hilda, she is actually cooking meals that Nigerians are very familiar with, the very local meals and all that. So I disagree with those abusing her, calling her names, calling her copycat and all that. It makes no sense to do that. Let people make themselves happy. Let people challenge themselves in the way that they deem fit. It is not in your place to set standards for people that you cannot meet. So, congratulations to Hilda for this record.
Well, BKO, you've delved into perhaps the aspect of the conversation that we were hoping to wrap it up with, the bad government mentality. Yinka pointed out that the government must play a role in supporting ambition or aspirations that would further help the country. Well, we'll continue to congratulate Hilda and, of course, encourage other Nigerians who would brace up for endeavors, supernatural or audacious endeavors that would help them put the country on the global map in the proper light. Well, let's move away from there to the second conversation on the show today, and it's about the landmark signing of the student loan bill by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. For President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it appears there is no time to waste in his desire to deliver on his renewed hope agenda. The President signed into law the student loan bill in fulfillment of his campaign promise. According to the federal government, the funds will be domiciled in the Ministry of Education and only accessed by indigent students of tertiary institutions through interest-free loans by the Nigerian Education Loan Funds. Well, let's hear from the government after the signing.
The President, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, signed into law the Students' Loan Bill. This is a promise made during the presidential campaign by the then candidate, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that he would bring back the issue of the student loans issue onto the front burner. And today, that promise he made has been kept. He has just signed that bill into law, which henceforth will allow or enable our indigent students to access the federal government loans to fund their educational pursuit.
This, no doubt, is a very, very huge one. And we hope that the federal government will be able to bring the hopes of Nigerians up again, especially in the education sector. But let's delve into the aspect of this bill or law now that's been signed into law that would encourage Nigerian students to pursue their educational aspirations. Tell us, what was your reaction when this news broke that the president has signed the student loan bill into law?
Yeah, of course, I welcome it heartily. First, let me commend the person who introduced the bill, the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila. Well, we are not surprised. The President promised that he was going to ensure that there was students' loan. I was, when he made that campaign promise.
And you could see, permit me to step in, Paul, you could see the President signing it with a lot of conviction, that this is what I want for my people. Remember that during his campaign trail, he also emphasized that education in Nigeria will be according to the academic calendar, not based on the calendar that the government is setting for you.
Exactly. Student loans is what is obtainable in several other countries, the US, even African countries. A small country as Namibia. I know people who went to university on, I know one very close, in Namibia, very close to me, and she went on student loan and she's working. So it's a very good thing, and a lot of, there are so many families, many Nigerians who can't even, that 1,000 naira is a luxury to them, you understand? And a lot of people come from such families. They want to access higher education, they can't. There are people who, very brilliant children, very brilliant students who come from indigent families, homes, and they can't even go to university, not because they are not brilliant enough, not because they are not intelligent enough, because they are poor. So it's a very good thing. However, there are still some Nigerians who are very skeptical, about it. Nigerians are, because of years of enduring bad leadership. So Nigerians sometimes are very skeptical about policies or programs that are made with the best of intention. Okay, so, but the issues that are being raised, one of them is Okay, you give student loan, the person graduates, what's the guarantee that the person will get a job? Because if you study that bill or the act, it is said that the education bank also will liaise with employers who will deduct part of the income of
to pay back the loan.
Of what if somebody comes out and for 3-4 years he does not get a job, how will the loan be repaid? It's a legitimate concern. But I'm also happy that this president has also promised to create jobs, you know. So the issue of job creation is there. It's actually there. Another issue is abuse. You know, the Nigerian thing, we hope that people that will manage this scheme are not those that will just siphon the money, and then those who are supposed to be beneficiaries of the scheme will not get to benefit from it, because this is for people who earn less than 42,000 naira per month. That's 500,000 naira per annum. So if you are earning up to 42k per month, you do not have.
You don't need this.
You don't need this. So you've got to earn maybe 41.6 downwards. So that's what it is. So I do, but let us not always be pessimistic. Let's not always have criticize issues as if we by default. Let's understand. Let's see how it goes, and let's encourage it. And if there are proposals that we can give to make it better, on how it can be implemented, let's bring it forward. Not that we just be naysayers.
All right, Yinka, let me have your thoughts on this. I mean, the concern that Paul raised is quite valid. I hope the beneficiaries, which are the Nigerian people, will not abuse this and turn it to another national cake that is my own right, I'm not going to pay back.
No, let me first of all deal with the issue of the skeptics. Just as he has also recognized, Nigerians have been so battered that any government policy is looked at with some level of pessimism. And you won't blame them. Because we had, is it we had or we have? Because I'm not sure whether it's still existing. We have the scholarship board in those days, which was flagrantly abused. You give scholarship to those who can afford it and not those who really merit it. But this one, the thing I love about this is, one, it is meant for public and local universities. Don't let us forget that. Yeah. So if you go to a private university,
you have the money.
You have the money. Of course. So for me, I think because of this, it will not be abused by those who are going to be giving it, because no politician will be able to influence having his own child, or any big man having his own child to get it, because most of them have their children not in public universities or local or our own they don't have their children in public universities and local universities. Most of them send their children abroad. That's one good thing about this policy, which I like. But that also might be a point at which those who are going to implement it need to guide against it. Because if you don't do it well, you just treat it as, okay, it's a scholarship for the indigent, so we can do it any way we want. That will defeat the reason why the presenter of the bill and the president who signed it did that. So I think until we have been, since it was signed yesterday on social media, different copies or versions of it have been flying around. So the version I saw and what I've gained from it is a very wonderful one. But you know, the problem of Nigeria is that almost all Nigerian laws are crafted perfectly, but implementation is a concern.
It's a concern.
We will look forward to a situation where it is implemented to the letter and make people gain from it. And for the president, it is not enough for him to have signed it. It is also important who are the people who are going to manage it. The president or whoever will be the Minister of Education must be someone who has his eyes on details. Because when you give people a responsibility and you don't monitor it very well, there's likely to be argument.
I think VKO completely agrees with you on some of the points you've made. VKO, let me bring you up with this one. What are the impacts you expect that this bill will have on the short and long term? We've looked at the aspects of the bill and some of the challenges that may come with it. But what are the impacts you expect with this bill that is already signed into law?
But recall, for the sake of posterity, that Ashwaju instituted the policy of paying WAEC, NECO, JAM fees for the indigent students. Ashwaju recognized early in the day as governor of Lagos State that there are many parents who are so poor to the point that they won't be in position to pay the school fees, to pay the WAEC fees, to pay the NECO fees, pay JAM fees, for their children. So not only that, he also came up with what was called Jiggy Bola at that time, providing medicated classes for people too poor to afford such a thing. So he has always kept the poor people in his mind. When people say, how will this work? They should ask the question, how does TED fund work? Because this is very similar to the TED fund in terms of where the funding will originate from. So there's no need for some of the concerns that Nigerians are expressing. Today, in most of the state universities, more than half of their buildings were built by TED Fund. TED Fund funds not just research in our institutions of higher learning, but they build structures. Without TED Fund, I wonder where some of our universities will be. Go to any Nigerian university, you see the footprints, you see the impact of TED Fund. Now, coming to this one, what the president has come up with is an interest-free loan. This has been done in many countries of the world, and he knows that there are many parents who will not be able to pay the school fees of their children. So now, it is not an all-commerce affair. Your academic performances will qualify you, will make you eligible to be able to benefit from this. So that way, even if you are an indigent student, you must show proof that you are actually more brilliant than the ordinary students for you to be considered by the bank. The bank will be called Education Bank. It is that bank that will disburse the funds, and the CEO of the bank will report directly to the president. This is also another thing that ensures that the monitoring is going to be complete, and the repayment shall be by direct deduction of 10% from the salary of the beneficiary. Now, it is after you have finished your youth service and you have begun work that they will start drawing that money from your account. So, all the students seeking tuition fees for learning are eligible for the loan, but you have to be brilliant enough. Then that's why I mentioned the academic records. The employers of loan beneficiary will deduct the loan from the salaries. The fund for the bank, which is very important. Somebody was saying, people in Nigeria is broke, they are coming up with other ideas, all kinds of funny ideas on social media. The funding shall consist of 1% of tax levies from the FRS, from the NIS, and 1% of oil profits. It is very similar, as I said earlier, to what we have done with TED Fund. So there is the guarantee of sustenance of funding for this laudable scheme I can tell you many of the big people in Nigeria today, if there wasn't free education, they would not have gone to school. If there was no free education in the Southwest that Awolowo instituted, many people, many of the big Nigerians that you see today, they would not have gone to school. So we have to prioritize education and make it affordable. That is what this bill or this law will enable us to do.
And
So
that's a good way. That's a good place to drive home the conversation. It will give us. That's the impact we're talking about, both on the short term and the long term, the sustainability and the improved level of education. Because now the focus will be on the public schools to, of course, function properly, so that the beneficiary of this loan can graduate on time and start repaying back their loans. All right, the program is still Journalist Hangout. We still have a big one coming up as the National Assembly elects its new leadership. That will be our next conversation after this break. Stay with us.
In today's world, our lifestyle, both at work and at play, depends on connectivity. Our connectivity depends on the devices that make it possible, and these devices depend on electric power. When power fails, our life shrinks, our work drops, and our joy dips. JRB Solar Energy Systems are here to ensure that we enjoy uninterruptible power, uninterruptible joy. Whether you're running a business, an institution, or just a home you return daily to rest, JRB has got you covered. No project is too big for our super digital inverters, long-lasting batteries, and efficient solar panels. Go. Dream on. Change your world. JRB solar inverters, batteries, solar panels, solar streetlights, and more. Telephone 0906 752 1111. Email sales@jrbsolar.com. With JRB, the sun's gonna shine on everything you do.
New beginnings are always colorful. When we celebrate the start of life's journey, we marry in colors. With our proudly Nigerian Dulux paints, now available in any color. Express your world however you want it. Visit a Dulux Color Center to get any color instantly.
Dulux, let's color.
Get ready for an inspiring journey into the world of Nigerian media and the life of one of its brightest stars. Introducing Becoming the Queen of Talk TV, the highly anticipated debut book from Moriah Afolabi Brown, the host of Nigeria's #1 breakfast show, Your View. With over 2,300 episodes of Your View under her belt, Moriah is known as the Nigerian Queen of Talk. Her passion for speaking up for women has made her an influential figure in the media industry, both locally and internationally. In her first published book, Moriah takes readers on a journey through her remarkable career, chronicling her life story and swift rise to success. Mark your calendars for June 2023, when this one-of-a-kind book will be unveiled to the world.
Welcome back to Journalist Hangout right here on TVC, and of course we're looking at the next big issue on the show today. The 10th National Assembly has been birthed, and the inauguration came with a battle for the soul of the legislature. Former Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Godswill Akpabio, has been elected the President of the 10th Senate, while the Senator representing Kano North, Barao Jibrin, emerged as the Deputy Senate President. Akpabio polled 63 votes to defeat his rival and former Governor of Zamfara State, Abdulaziz Yari, who secured 46 votes. Also, Tajuddin Abbas has been elected as the Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives with 353 votes to defeat Idris Wase and Aminu Jaji, who got 3 votes each. That was a very overwhelming score there in the House of Reps leadership polls. Well, let's share the update on what transpired on the floor of both houses of National Assembly today.
I want to assure you today that I shall be just and fair to every one of you irrespective of perceived differences. I shall operate a house that you will be proud of. I shall be guided by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the House rules. Our doors will be open for members of APC, PDP, Labour Party, NNPP, APGA, SDP, ADC, and YPP. Under my watch, the 10th House shall sustain and even surpass the gains of the 9th Assembly. That's my prayer. We shall carry out the task before us jointly. We shall introduce reforms and innovations for the benefit of Nigerians.
That's the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, in his acceptance speech after he was elected as a Speaker of the 10th National Assembly. That's talking about the House of Representatives. Let me start with you, Yinka. There have been lots of anxiety, lots of concern. Will party supremacy prevail, or will we see another 2015 drama play out where it's all good for democracy, many would say, but how would you take the results that played out on the floor of both chambers today?
Well, clearly, what happened today is a party that is united. That, for me, is what you can see. Because before today, there have been anxieties that, oh, will Akpabio win? Will Abbas go? Will he win? And all that. But from what we have seen today, and there were no fracas, no dissenting voices, nothing. I mean, no, at least so far, the election has taken place more than 3-4 hours ago. There has been no any reports of anybody saying, no, it's unfair, this. So for me, I think the president has gotten what he wants. The question now is, as he has said when he was sworn in, he said, don't pity me, I asked for this job. So as a Nigerian, I will not offer him a word of pity.
You place a demand.
I will put his foot on fire. That man, for more than 30 years, you have been asking for this job. You've gotten it. What do you have in stock for us? The candidates he openly supported, that of House of Rep was not very clear, but I know he supported him. But that of Senate was very, very clear and glaring that Akpabio was his candidate and he has gotten it. He has gotten the House of Rep, he has gotten the Senate. What do you do with it? That is the question we should be asking. We don't want to have a National Assembly that will be like the net one. Whether they agree or not, majority of Nigerians believe that it was a rubber stamp assembly, National Assembly. But this time around, yes, it shouldn't be like that. All the president wishes, if they really consider them and they feel that it will not be in the best interest of their constituent or in the country, we want to believe that they will not allow it to pass. For now, the president has gotten all the tools he needs
to lead the
country. So, in the next few days or weeks, what we expect is the announcement of advisors, announcement of submission of ministerial nominations, and let the work start. Because Nigerians out there are eager. Even those who don't support the president or the party, they are eager to see what he's going to do. And it is our prayer and our wish that let him surprise those who are skeptical about him leading the country right, and let him confirm for those who have staked out their neck for him that no, Asiwaju will be the man to lead Nigeria out of the woods.
Okay,
that is what we were.
That's a good one. Paul, let me bring you on to the conversation. How important was it for the executive to influence the leadership of the legislature? And I narrow it down to the president himself. How important is the emergence of this party-supported candidates to emerge as leaders of the National Assembly? And what crucial role will it play in the entire federal government itself, the structure of the federal government going forward from now?
I don't want us to look at it as if the executive foisted these candidates on the legislators. They were not foisted.
It was open.
Yes, they were not foisted. These candidates were the preference of the party, and the president, of course, obviously, was a party man, and a lot of negotiations went into it, a lot of discussions, much persuasion went into. That's why you had a lot.
I mean, look at the results from the House of Representatives
stepping down,
where APC doesn't even have the overwhelming.
But the man Yari also pulled his weight. He had 43 votes. He said he would not step down, and everyone didn't fall for him.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say? The party did not see him as one who had offended the gods.
Yeah.
It was his right to contest. And he got 43 votes. Now, the other people for the other contenders at the House of Reps got 3 each. Fine, that's the democracy. For me, what really happened, I love the way the party went about it, because they went about it so early. They were able to prevent the Saraki, Saraki scenario. It showed cohesiveness. In a way, it also showed party supremacy, because people don't, as far as we're concerned, none of them was an independent candidate. I mean, of course, they didn't campaign or they didn't win their seat on independent platforms. So it shows some cohesion, and that's what we need. And it also, helps them to get away from distractions. But I know that those who will be winners are still savoring the euphoria of their triumphs. But beyond all of that, Godswill Akpabio, for example, should remember that he's a very lucky man, and he has to work. He's a lucky man because this was the man that did not have it rosy with his nomination for the exactly, with the Senate. Remember the NDDC saga and all of that. Don't let us go into all of that now. He's a very lucky man. Of course, the party had a switch with it. So he has to work well. I want him to lead I expect him to lead a Senate that will not be saying to ministerial nominees, take a bow. I want them to do serious screening. I wish.
All right, Paul, we'll get into the demands before the leadership of the National Assembly. But let's just look at the emergence, the nitty-gritty, and the drama that played out. Let me bring on Babajide Kolade Otitodru into the conversation. He's joining us via Zoom from Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. BKO, the party prevails, or the wishes of the party prevails in this one. And of course, we have a leadership that the party can now beat its chest and say it's part of the renewed hope agenda. How important was this for the overall federal government led by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president?
This was Asiwaju's first real battle, and his skills as a politician, a tactical politician, were put to test. About 3 days ago, it looked most unlikely that Akpabio will win. Yari was clearly ahead, and senators attested to the fact that Yari was ahead in the race. All of the governors, former governors, except perhaps people like Bishomole and the former governor of Ebonyi, were on his side. People like Tambuwal, Magata Kadawamako, former governor Aliero from Kebbi, and a lot of the powerful senators from the Northwest were clearly on Yari's side, and Yari was coasting home to victory, was coasting to victory. But Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu deployed his deputy. His deputy had one-to-one discussions with some of the powerful and influential politicians. And by 4 a.m. yesterday, the situation began to change because some of the people in Yari's column had begun to move back to Akpabio's side. And in the end, Yari actually scored 46, not 43 votes. Yeah, Yari lost out. Akpabio scored 63 votes to Yari's 46. For a man who did not get the benefit of federal might, that was a very, very good performance. But I can tell you that if the method adopted by the House of Reps in choosing their presiding officers had been adopted by the Senate, because the House of Reps adopted a modified voice vote whereby you come out and announce that this is the person that you are supporting. If they had adopted that for the Senate, Akpabio will have won with a very big landslide, because not many people, realizing that Akpabio was the choice of the president, will want to openly go against him. So the method adopted in the Senate helped Yari to poll the number of votes that he got in the final analysis. But it was good for Asiwaju to get the National Assembly to support the people that he felt would best complement him in the onerous task that he has had. As all right,
let's switch
coming to the House of...
Okay. Let me allow you to wrap up your thoughts quickly.
Oh, now coming to the House of Reps. A lot of people are saying, oh, the House of Reps contest became a one-sided affair. They must remember again that Asiwaju had one of the contestants like Dagdi, like Betara. He met them, and then got his deputy to also follow up. At the end of the day, they started stepping down one after another. So by the time the race began, the biggest contestants like Betara, like Gagdi, they had already pulled out of the race. Wase was literally left alone. So that was why it became one-sided like that. If all those guys had been in the race, the plan that they had was to pick one of them as the consensus candidate, and they will have given him all their support. And with powerful people like Betara, like Gagdi, it will have been a different case. Okay. But by stepping down, it made the race a walkover for Tajuddin Abbas. And this is a very good way for the president to start. It will have been an embarrassing situation for him if he had not secured the buy-in of those National Assembly members.
Well, you can always count on the dexterity of the president, being a former senator himself. Surrounded by parliamentarians. I mean, it's chief of staff,
former senator, the vice president, former senator, the first lady, former senator, the
chief of staff.
I mean,
the secretary of the government federation. So I think it was clear from the that the president will always have his way, despite all the shenanigans. Yeah. But of course, like you pointed out, it's a good thing for democracy.
Yes,
it's a good thing for democracy that everybody tests their might and nobody is being coerced into silence. But let's look at the task before the leadership of the 10th National Assembly. I will start from you, Yinka. You mentioned the issue of ministerial screening, but beyond the ministerial screening, they also play the role of helping the federal government, led by the executive, and of course setting the agenda for for national growth and development. What are the areas you expect the 10th Assembly to feature prominently?
For me, the issue of economy and education, those two, well, three actually, education, economy, and security. And the three go together. The reason is that you cannot have a good economy if you don't have security. There can be good economy if there is no education. So the three goes together. The three are together, and as a National Assembly, they must focus on what is the problem. Where do we start? What do we do about the security of the country? What do we do about the education? We don't want to have a situation where a minister will say that by the time he got to that ministry, he knew next to nothing about that ministry. So, even if the president will not give them a ministry attached to names of ministers, they must also look at the pedigree of all those who are going to be the ministers. Apart from the ministers, the issue of security also. The security architecture of the country needs a rejig completely. A situation where we have people being kidnapped and the security officials are lethargic, we don't hear anything, you just look at the statement that has been issued, looks like a statement that was issued some 5 years ago, is just the date and the this and that. No, people must be taken into, they must be taxed and asked questions. If there's a security lapse, the security chief must be summoned. If there is an educational lapse, that must be. Economy too. All these things, you must not have a situation where ministers or appointees are kept there and nobody questions them.
And that's where, I mean, let me bring you, Paul, into this one as well. One area where many Nigerians faulted the National Assembly was its inability to summon appointees or even ministers, and they would reply. We saw a time when they summoned the CBN governor, the suspended CBN governor, and he said he was out of the country, and they had to use a threat of an arrest to coerce him or to send a representative to the House. How would you expect the 10th Assembly to play its oversight function without hurting the ego of the executive, led by the president, and also ensuring that it creates a balance that will not create tension in the system?
I think one of the reasons political appointees were able to ignore the National Assembly was the attitude of the former president, who had this insouciant attitude, semi-insouciant attitude towards things going on in his back corner. You would find this ministry fighting this agency, and then the president will fold his arms. If you listen to an interview by former governor of Lagos State and former minister of power, former minister of works, Babatunde Fashola, he said that Buhari is the kind of person that gives you a job to do and he watches you from a distance. Asiwaju is the kind of person that gives you a job to do and breathes down your neck. Yeah. Now, Asiwaju will probably not appoint people that will defy the National Assembly. Now, in the National Assembly...
Being a former senator.
Yes, being a former senator. The National Assembly and the executive work together seamlessly. I think that you may not have government appointees, defying the National Assembly. I do not see much of that happening. But one thing that can also cause that is the integrity of those who are also the lawmakers themselves. We've had allegations that are made against lawmakers asking for bribe to have the budget of MDAs passed. Now, the appointees will respect you if you are doing that. You understand? You have had cases like that. So, if the National Assembly has a moral authority, if they are men that decide to depart from the moral decadence that the several assemblies have been characterized with, I think that they will stand on a good moral footing. You understand? To say, come here, and then the person will come.
Of course, the Senate must stand above board and ensure that it's, maintain its moral integrity, so that no appointee of the government would rub or look at it in the face and call it bluff. BK, let me bring you into the conversation as we gradually hit the home stretch. Now the National Assembly is set. The president can now get to work. What are your expectations from the federal government led by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu? And now, talking about the federal government, we are looking at the three arms. The executive, the legislature, and the judiciary will also play a role in the government itself. What are your expectations, and what are the targets or the milestones you expect that will be reached within the first 100 days? The president has said, do not pity me. So I will hope that in your own assessment as well and your submission, you will not pity the president in your expectations.
The president has shown in the last few days that he has revolutionary ideas, that he intends to change our country for good. For example, unifying the exchange rate is like taking away the subsidy that people are enjoying in the forex market. And I'm sure that to stabilize our currency and take away the benefits that rent seekers and traders were getting from the deplorable state of our currency. So, Mr. President has a lot to do. He needs a National Assembly that will complement his efforts. And I can see why he put everything he's got into this race to ensure that Fabio especially, we thought, because without the president's last-minute intervention, Fabio would easily have lost the race. Now, he needs the National Assembly working with him. We also need the National Assembly to take its oversight function seriously. A lot of the ministries, departments, and agencies are known for heart-shaking corruption. The National Assembly must stand firm. The National Assembly must allocate money to itself to be able to do the oversight work competently, not going to the people that you are oversighting and asking them to provide you with accommodation and allowances. At that stage, you have already compromised the work. So what we want to see is a National Assembly that brings down the neck of these people and ensures that, look, the nonsense that is going on, the BFS stealing that is going on through those agencies and ministries are stopped. You know, it's a lot that we need to do better than the way we did them in the last administration. And I want to believe that that change that this administration promised will happen. We are already seeing the signs. We are seeing people now say they regretted not voting for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They thought, oh, it was a president who will come and be saying Bala Blue every day. Now, they can't even hear such things again. And they can see that he has settled down and is doing his work. He's taking some giant steps and giant leaps. This is what we want to see. And we need a National Assembly that will help us get to the next level.
What a way for us to wrap up the conversation there. And Vicky, will thank you for eating that right into the bull's eye for the section of naysayers who believe that Nigeria shouldn't go the route it is heading now. Well, gentlemen, thank you for the conversation. Thank you for looking at the issues from a very objective and balanced point of view. Of course, Olayinka Oyegbili, as well as Paul Dada, as well as Babajide Kolade Titoju, who joins us via Zoom from Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. I'm Emmanuel Akindubua, and that's it on the show today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. You can also join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. That's a special 2-hour broadcast of the show. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Emmanuel Akindubua. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.
following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Are you worried about the safety and security of your home at night? Do you wish to know when intruders come close to your home? Or do you want to protect what matters to your family from anywhere at any time? What if there was a convenient, affordable way to keep surveillance on your home without having to worry about wires, installations, or heavy light bills? Introducing the incredible Sidebulb HD Cam, the robotic 360-degree two-way torque camera with action tracking technology. Sidebulb is the ultimate solution for discreet and powerful surveillance. It's so easy to install, and the app lets you rotate and view the video from your Sidebulb in real time from any smartphone. You can drop in from anywhere and check in with our two-way torque technology. Talk and listen at the same time.
Hello, Mommy.
Hey, sweetie. I'll be home soon, okay?
Sidebulb's advanced tracking technology locks onto motion and tracks in real time. Set the siren alarm to go off when motion is detected and keep intruders away. Check in on your home while you're away. Make sure the kids got home safely. Interact with visitors at your doorway or surprise a trespasser.
Surveillance in a light bulb. I was amazed at the 360-degree rotation. It gives me a full view of my house and I can check in on my kids. The footage is clear and the night vision is so impressive. The best part, I can add multiple sidebulbs for a complete home surveillance.
I really like my Sidebulb. It's so easy to use. I just downloaded the app, I put it on my phone and I add it up and run in about 3 minutes.
Traditional surveillance systems are bulky, expensive and difficult to install. But with Sidebulb HD Cam's innovative design, installation is as fast as changing a light bulb, and it's made for indoor and outdoor surveillance.
The Sidebulb HD Cam is now available in Nigeria, exclusively from ShopX TV. You could be paying up to 200,000 naira for an indoor and outdoor security system that doesn't fully secure your home. But call the number on your screen now and get the Sidebulb HD Cam for just 45,000 naira and get peace of mind. And that's not all. If you call now, we'll give you an extra Sidebulb at no extra cost. That means you buy one and get one free for 45,000 naira. But wait! There's more. If you order now, you get the Sidebulb HD Cam delivered to you for free wherever you are in Nigeria. So, call the number on your screen now or visit our website to place your order while stock lasts. The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
Never miss a moment. Instant breaking news from all over the globe. Live streaming of your favorite programs delivered directly to you. Watch anytime from anywhere on your mobile or smart devices. Download the TVC News app today. Available on Google Play and Apple Store.
Keep up with innovative, revealing, and groundbreaking happenings in the world of brands and brand builders in Nigeria and across the globe. Mingle with people and brands that make the cut and the personalities that keep reinventing the trends and traditions in the marketing world. All are exciting one-stop shop for marketing buffs. Marketing Edge on TV. You are always right on time with the right people and movers and shakers of the world of marketing as they share their views and ideas on the business and challenges of advertising, corporate affairs, media strategy, and the unfolding exciting world of digital marketing. Join the trendsetters and key decision makers as they shape opinions and project into the future of the marketing landscape for 30 exhilarating minutes on this channel. Stay ahead, be thrilled to beat, be marketing savvy with Marketing Edge on TV. Marketing Edge on TV, promoting the brand idea.
It is day 15 of President Bola Tinubu's presidency. Thanks for joining us on the program. I am Abosedi Adeniwadiremi. You can join the conversation now on Twitter using the hashtag #First100Days. Remember to tag at TVC News NG and at Prof. Bosse TVC. After a successful inauguration of the 10th National Assembly, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has met with President Bola Tinubu to brief him on his emergence. Also, the new Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, was at the villa to meet Mr. President. And President Tinubu, on his part, expressed satisfaction with the successful election of the presiding officers. According to the President, being elected by their peers as presiding officers and assuming the leadership of the National Assembly is a great honor that comes with huge responsibility. He wished Senator Abdulaziz Yari, Idris Wase, and Aminu Jaji, who enriched the process with their participation in the leadership election, the best and a successful tenure in the 10th National Assembly. And President Tinubu added, and I quote, "As your president, I am prepared to transparently work with the National Assembly. In the course of our work together, disagreements may occur. When we disagree, it will not be out of malice, ill will, and quest to diminish the institution of National Assembly," end quote. Let's now speak to our State House correspondent, Femi Akonde, on the outcome of the meeting and other updates coming from the villa. Femi, for the first time, we have an assemblage of past federal lawmakers at the executive arm, and their choices also have emerged winners in the National Assembly. How is the presidency reacting to this emergence?
Ambassador, the president is pleased with this outcome. You know, they came to the villa to meet Mr. President. He congratulated them on their victory. And you know, let's not forget the role Mr. President played in their emergence. He met with our lawmakers, both from all political divides, the APC, the Labour Party, and you know, this is a diverse National Assembly with a representation from 8 political parties. Mr. President met with all of them. He was able to persuade them to adopt the choice of the APC, that is Godswill Akpabio and Barrow Jibrin. Also in the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas and Benjamin Kalu, and eventually Mr. President's choice, and indeed the choice of the APC, emerged as the winners in the Senate and likewise the House of Representatives. You know, this further validates Mr. President's political influence and also shows the kind of respect he commands among politicians, members of his party, and indeed members of the parliament. Because you know, initially when the party came up with this choice, a lot of people kicked against him. Some people even vowed to remain in the contest and go through it all the way. But eventually when Mr. President started to intervene, started to meet with all of these people to engage with them, a lot of them saw reasons with Mr. President why they need to allow the choice of the APC. He says it's in the interest of equity, fairness and justice, and then they decided to step out of the way and allow a smooth sail for the choice of the party. Well, it was a very smooth sail, an easy one, an unprecedented victory, of course first of its kind for the Speaker of the House of Representatives. 353 lawmakers out of 359 voted for Tajuddin Abbas. This is the biggest endorsement any Speaker of the House of Representatives will ever get. Well, that of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, eventually emerged with about 64 votes against that of Abdulaziz Yari, his closest contender, with just 46 votes. But you know what Mr. President is saying is that they should not bask in the euphoria of victory for too long. It's time to work. It's time to get on with the business of the people. We expect in the coming days to begin to see executive bills sent to the National Assembly. We know Mr. President has so much to do, and we expect to also see the list of ministers sent to the National Assembly for confirmation. President Bola Tinubu is talking about a mutual working relationship, a mutually beneficial working relationship with the National Assembly. He needs legislative backing for some of the government's plans and policies that will be executed by his administration. And for him, their victory just means it's time to get to work. Abosede.
President's influence and this emergence, we are hoping to see a harmonious relationship between these two arms of government. But then, Femi, what other important activities took place at the villa today? We understand former President Goodluck Jonathan paid a visit.
Yes, Abosede, that's correct. Former President Goodluck Jonathan paid a visit, congratulatory visit to President Bola Tinubu. This is the first time he'll be meeting President Bola Tinubu in the presidential villa after the inauguration on the 29th of May. You know, the two men exchanged pleasantries, and it is, you also know that President Goodluck Jonathan was appointed as special envoy to Mali by the former president Muhammadu Buhari. So we believe that he had also come to give President Tinubu updates on that national assignment, on that assignment that he has been given, and also familiarize, and you know, the two men, former president and new President Bola Tinubu, you know, it's for that meeting. We believe that they would also exchange ideas, talk about matters of national importance. You know, you can't push away President Jonathan's experience on national issues. We believe that moving forward, President Bola Tinubu will need this kind of support from President Goodluck Jonathan, and indeed past presidents that make up the Council of State, to help guide him as he steers the ship of the country. Well, President Goodluck Jonathan also spoke to the media, a very short interview. We had to press him to grant that interview. Let's listen to what he said. Abosede.
Here I came to brief the president about some continental and subcontinental bodies. You know, I'm the ECOWAS mediator for Mali, and I'm the chair of the West African Elders Forum. So there are certain issues bordering on the continent and the sub-region that I discuss with various presidents.
All right, Femi, we've heard former President Goodluck Jonathan there briefing the incumbent president about continental issues as special envoy to Mali. But then, what really is the mood in the villa, especially following the emergence of the party's choices as leaders of the 10th National Assembly?
Yes, we have seen a lot of people coming to the villa. We have seen some APC governors also coming to the villa to meet our President Bola Tinubu. What we gather is that, yes, they are beginning to put their strategy together now that the National Assembly has been inaugurated. The 10th National Assembly has been inaugurated. The plans and strategy of the Bola Tinubu administration is gradually falling into shape, and we expect to hear them roll out their plans on the economy, on security, and other critical sectors of in the country in the coming days. And let me tell you another thing about it. President Bola Tinubu also met with the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS. They came to the villa here to thank Mr. President for signing that student loan bill that gives students access to interest-free loans, especially students of tertiary institutions. You know, they say this would also increase the enrollment of students into tertiary institutions and also improve the access to tertiary education in the country. They came to thank Mr. President for this, for signing this into law, and also pledged their support and commitment in ensuring that the administration of President Bola Tinubu succeeds. Well, besides that, all that has been happening has just been celebratory visits by members of the All Progressives Congress, some members of the National Assembly. We also saw the chairman of the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, the national secretary of the party. They were also here in the presidential villa to meet with President Bola Tinubu. So for the APC and for President Bola Tinubu, this victory in the National Assembly is just the start and the beginning of what is to come. Abosede.
Nigerians sure look forward to all of that. State House correspondent Femi Akonde live for us in Abuja. Well, join us for more on the program after this break.
Tinubu, do solemnly swear.
It is day 15 of President Bola Tinubu's presidency. After weeks of back and forth as to who becomes the president of the 10th Senate and Speaker of the House of Representatives, the governing All Progressives Congress has taken it all. In a secret and open ballot system, Godswill Akpabio and Tajuddin Abbas are to lead the 10th Assembly for the next 4 years. The former minister scored 63 votes to defeat Senator Yari, who scored 46 votes, while Mr. Abbas pulled 353 votes to defeat other contenders. The new speaker has now promised to be fair and just in the discharge of his duties.
I want to assure you today that I shall be just and fair to every one of you, irrespective of perceived differences. I shall operate a house that you will be proud of. I shall be guided by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the House rules. Our doors will be open for members of APC, PDP, Labour Party, NNPP, APGA, SDP, ADC, and YPP. Under my watch, the 10th House shall sustain and even surpass the gains of the 9th Assembly. That's my prayer. We shall carry out the task before us jointly. We shall introduce reforms and innovations for the benefit of Nigerians.
Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives there. Now, other dignitaries who spoke to TVC News 100 Days program are optimistic the 10th Assembly will surpass the achievement of the 9th Assembly.
I believe that, and I hope that they will build on the work. The 10th Assembly will build on the work that we've done in the 9th Assembly, and that's a lot. Some work is unfinished. I expect them to finish off that job. Constitutional amendment, the issue of gender parity, and so many other things. Electoral laws remains unfinished, even though a strong foundation has been laid. And I believe I expect the 10th Assembly to build on those things. And I expect them to, beyond that, begin to break new frontiers in terms of legislative work.
The exercise, in our view, in which all of us are seeing, has reflected real democracy at play and party supremacy also across party lines. You know, people have shown that we all can work together, right? An election that has been very transparent, that has reflected the views of all of the members elect, and they've been able to choose their leaders freely, justly and equitably, right? I'm indeed proud of them.
So transparent and open. Nobody is untwisted. The National Assembly were allowed to have a free choice. At the end of the day, our party won. At the end of the day, Nigerians won. And this is the beauty of democracy in this country. And I want to assure Nigerians that the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is indeed a government of all inclusivity.
Let's talk more about this. Joining me is a political analyst, Ahmed Mustafa. Thank you for joining us on the program. What is the reaction to the emergence of the party's choices?
Well, thank you for having me. I think democracy won today. Nigerians have won, and I am sure that we clearly saw this was, particularly with the Senate presidency, was a keenly contested elections, one that was open and fair and gave room for the practice of democratic tenets. And of course, at the end of the day, Nigerians can be proud that a Senate president has been elected, and same goes for the speakership. There was no disadvertisement of a candidate, and the voting was televised live, and everybody, all Nigerians across walks of life, saw just how transparent the process was, and there will be no arguments whatsoever about who the eventual winners are. Congratulations to Senator Godwin Akpabio and also to Right Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, whom I feel would do justice to their various positions.
Oh, Mr. Mustafa, before this election, it was more about religious versus ethnic considerations, but then it appears religious consideration had its way. How important do you think this is?
Can you come again, please? I didn't get that.
Prior to this election now, the considerations were ethnic and religious, but at the end of the day, it does appear that religious considerations had its way. How important is this?
Well, Nigeria is a multi-ethnic, multi-religious and multi-ethnic society, so it's necessary for us to balance the views. But then again, I don't quite agree that the religious sentiments too. I think it was more about these senators and the House of Rep members deciding clearly based on competence and who they thought was better qualified to occupy those seats. I must say that everybody who stood for elections today were eminently qualified, but at the end of the day, one person had to win, and that's what happened. I think it was an idea where the person who the crown fits the most emerged as both President of the Senate and Speaker of the House of Representatives. I do not think that religion played a major role, because if you look at the voting patterns, senators from across the country, north, south, east, west, voted for Senator Akpabio, and the same thing replicated itself, particularly with the House of Reps. I think it was just Nigerians, our representatives, picking who they thought was best to occupy that position based solely on their competence. Yes, of course, it looked better, for political optics to have a Muslim president, a Muslim vice president, and then have a Christian Senate president. It looks better, it feels better, it suits the narrative, but I don't think that was a major decider. I think Senator Akpabio stands head and shoulders above his competitor today, and that eventually carried the day for him.
And the winners are promised to be just and fair. How do you see them in the days ahead unite those who contested against them in this election, and of course make legislations that would move Nigeria forward?
Well, I'm confident that the 10th Assembly will surpass the 9th Assembly, because that's the beauty of democracy. We're looking, Nigeria is growing in our national democracy, and we expect that the 10th Assembly will do a lot better than what the 9th Assembly did. The 9th Assembly, I must give them credit for having laid a fantastic foundation in lawmaking, and I expect that members of the 10th Assembly, having observed what the 9th Assembly did, will continue to build on those tenets to ensure that Nigerians get the best of this deal going forward. Again, those who contested against them, we are one big, JPC is one big family. I expect that they will come together and work by it. Even with the president, he has said specifically that JPC is looking to build a government of national unity, and I don't think it will be any different with the National Assembly. I expect Senator Yari and those who contend against the new speaker to come together and form some kind of forum and ensure that at the end of the day, 200 million Nigerians are better off for the decisions that were made today on the floor of the two houses.
While the Senate went for secret ballot system, the House of Representatives, went the way of open ballot system. What impact do you think this choice of balloting systems have on the conduct of the elections?
Well, this is a delegate election. I don't think it had any impact. I think deliberations and consultations have been made long before now. I was privileged to be part of the consultation team for one of the candidates that emerged today. And I will tell you that even before the elections were done, we were pretty confident that we're going to win today. And it wasn't any different from the result that we expected. The numbers are very easy to crunch. And so I don't think if the voting patterns had been different, it would have affected the votes in any way whatsoever. I think the senators already had their heart set on who they wanted to vote for, and so were the members of the House of Reps, who had already decided before coming into the chambers how they were going to cast their vote. I don't think these men are cowards or men who are scared to make decisions publicly. I have absolutely no thought as to how, if the voting pattern had been different, how it would have affected the results of the elections today. I think everybody can go home proud and happy to have been part of this very clean, clear, and fair process.
Mr. Mustafa, were you surprised that some people still went ahead to contest against the party's choices for the presiding offices?
No, absolutely not. Those who stood for elections today had made it absolutely clear that they were going to run for elections no matter what. And we must be clear, it's good for our democracy. It wasn't a case where a single candidate was forced down the throat of senators and House of Rep members, and they didn't have a choice. A choice was presented, and they clearly made that choice. And I'm sure that the party is not going to hold anything against them. The APC is one big family. It's an internal family affair, and it has been elections have been decided. It's time now for nation building. I understand, from my understanding of how politics is played, these people will come together, and they are probably having celebratory dinners as we speak in the same venues, and they will move ahead as one big family. And beyond the APC is the fact that the House of Reps and the Senate are a community of leaders who should be able to resolve their differences and help move the country forward. So I'm by no means surprised. This has always been the tradition to have these elections hold. It would have been somewhat of an underdog story if somebody had been imposed and every person who had ambitions to run forced to step down. Again, it's a huge building block for our democracy that people can come out without fear to challenge the party's position and try out their popularity. Unfortunately, today it didn't go their way. We don't know what will happen next time. It's best Nigerians are better served if the democratic processes are followed through.
And while the school of thought believes the emergence of the party's choices would make for a harmonious working relationship between the executive and the legislature, others ask, questions about the ability of these arms of government to actually carry out checks and balances on each other. How do you see this play out in the days ahead?
Well, I expect that the 10th Assembly will be very independent of the executive. What will form a very cordial working relationship with the executive, because Nigeria needs to move forward, and for that to happen, we need a handshake between our legislature, our legislative arm of government, and the executive arm of government. They need to find a middle ground. The years we spent bickering have slowed down the development that this country should have experienced over the last 24 years of our democracy. So we need to find a diplomatic way of them working together while ensuring that nobody looks to give Nigerians the short end of the stick. At the end of the day, I expect that having emerged, Senator Akpabio and Right Honorable Tajudeen Abbas will come together with executives and find a way to ensure that Nigerians, at the end of the day, are the ultimate beneficiaries of these decisions, or whatever decisions will be made. I expect them to pass laws and promote bills that will better the lives of Nigerians across all walks of life, across religious and ethnic divides. I expect them to, again, build systemically on the progress that we made by the 9th Assembly. And I expect them to surpass the 9th Assembly. And I'm particularly very keen on watching out for Honorable Tajudeen Abbas. This was a man who, during his time as a member of the House of Assembly, before he became Speaker, had been involved in the passing of 74 bills. So now, as Speaker, I expect that if that would transcend, would trickle down to members of the House of Reps, and Nigerians would, at the end of the day, experience, incremental growth in the next 4 years. It's exciting time for Nigerians, and I expect that they will do their jobs without fear or favor, but at the end of the day, ensuring that they don't become cantankerous to the executive. But most Nigerians expect that an active House is one that is always at loggerheads or is always bickering with the executives. We don't want to see all that anymore. What we want to see is an harmonious working relationship between these two to the benefit of the everyday Nigerian on the street.
Political analyst Ahmed Mustafa, thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
For that program today, watch a repeat broadcast at midnight and 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Subsidy, Adeniran Adiremi.
Stubborn dark marks? Try new Nivea Lumina 630. Visibly reduces up to 10 years of stubborn dark marks in just 4 weeks. New Nivea Lumina 630. Get even and luminous skin.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV. Are you worried about the safety and security of your home at night? Do you wish to know when intruders come close to your home? Or do you want to protect what matters to your family from anywhere at any time? What if there was a convenient, affordable way to keep surveillance on your home without having to worry about wires, installations, or heavy light bills? Introducing the incredible Sidebulb HD Cam, the robotic 360-degree two-way torque camera with action tracking technology. Sidebulb is the ultimate solution for discreet and powerful surveillance. It's so easy to install, and the app lets you rotate and view the video from your Sidebulb in real time from any smartphone. You can drop in from anywhere and check in with our two-way talk technology. Talk and listen at the same time.
Hello, Mommy.
Hey, sweetie. I'll be home soon, okay?
Sidebulb's advanced tracking technology locks onto motion and tracks in real time. Set the siren alarm to go off when motion is detected and keep intruders away. Check in on your home while you're away. Make sure the kids got home safely. Interact with visitors at your doorway or surprise a trespasser.
Surveillance in a light bulb. I was amazed at the 360-degree rotation. It gives me a full view of my house and I can check in on my kids. The footage is clear and the night vision is so impressive. The best part, I can add multiple side bulbs for a complete home surveillance.
I really like my Sidebulb. It's so easy to use. I just downloaded the app, I put it on my phone, and I add it up and run in about 3 minutes.
Traditional surveillance systems are bulky, expensive, and difficult to install. But with Sidebulb HD Cam's innovative design, installation is as fast as changing a light bulb, and it's made for indoor and outdoor surveillance.
The Sidebulb HD Cam is now available in Nigeria, exclusively from ShopX TV. You could be paying up to 200,000 naira for an indoor and outdoor security system that doesn't fully secure your home. But call the number on your screen now and get the Sidebulb HD Cam for just 45,000 naira and get peace of mind. And that's not all. If you call now, we'll give you an extra Sidebulb at no extra cost. That means you buy one and get one free for 45,000 naira. But wait, there's more. If you order now, you get the Sidebulb HD Cam delivered to you for free wherever you are in Nigeria. So, call the number on your screen now or visit our website to place your order while stock lasts. The proceeding was a paid presentation brought to you by ShopX TV.
At TVC News, wherever the big news story is happening, we're geared up to break it. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Nigeria's fiscal authorities at the public presentation of the 2023 budget earlier this year made it known that subsidy payments would stop by June. They added that just 3.36 trillion naira had been earmarked to service the payment till mid-year. Nigeria's new president also highlighted this move in his inaugural speech.
Of fuel subsidy, unfortunate, the budget that I've glimpsed before I assume office and what I've heard is that no provision is there for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone. Subsidy can no longer justify a ever increasing cost and the week of dry resources. We shall instead channel whatever so for to fund to better investment in public infrastructure, education, healthcare, and jobs that will materially improve lives for people.
This has since led to a series of developments, with pump prices now officially put at between 488 to 550 naira per litre, varying from state to state. In Abuja, for example, most fuel stations now sell at 540 naira per litre. But the interesting part of it is that queues that characterized fuel stations have simply disappeared. And though it is now more expensive to fill car tanks, the task is completed faster. These Nigerians share their thoughts on the development.
Know that there are some people that are behind this subsidy, that the money is going to where it's not supposed to be going. But nevertheless, if they remove it, we know that it's for every Nigerian.
The removal of fuel subsidy is actually something that every government have said that they will do. The three candidates that contested for the presidential election say they will remove the fuel subsidy. It's actually a good thing that it is being removed.
Based on situation of things, past administration and what have you, subsidy has not been properly managed by the government. That's why I say it's a good thing. So since it has been improperly managed, it has to be removed so that an average man on the street can benefit from whatever money government has been investing in the subsidy regime.
It's a good thing for the country if applied well. But the situation at hand is this. I don't think the government has a very good policy that will enable them to implement the subsidy removal at a time, because I don't think our three refineries, the Kaduna refineries, the Rivers refineries and Warri refineries are working.
The NNPC Limited has assured Nigerians that with the deregulation of the downstream oil sector, which allows players apart from it import refined crude alongside expected output from the Dangote refinery and the turnaround maintenance of the Warri, Kaduna and Port Harcourt refineries, pump prices would definitely fall. The president has also directed that palliatives be put in place to cushion the effects of the situation, and the public also lends its voice to why this is extremely important.
There's just too much hike in price unnecessarily. So the government is supposed to have a body that will check and regulate the price generally before the fuel subsidy law is enacted, before it goes public.
Government should go as far as importing buses, taxis, you understand, to reduce the cost of transportation. Government should provide power, provide electricity, you understand, provide water, provide basic amenities so that Nigerians can what? Enjoy. Nigeria is the sixth largest oil producer of what? Petroleum, that's crude oil in the whole world. How can we be suffering like this?
I think the right thing for the government to do is to ensure that our own government refineries and that of the Kaduna, Rivers and Warri are actively producing the petroleum product.
From here to here, say 500. If now I'm going somewhere, I don't have fuel, I don't have money. Because the money I have, just I think say no go pass like 3,000. Now it's saying like 5,000. Please, would I pray for government? I mean, I reduce this country.
Nigeria's major labor union has always kicked against subsidy removal and has disagreed with government on this one, saying measures should have been put in place to protect the people's interests in the process ahead of the action.
The Guinness World Records, known from its inception in 1955 until 1999 as the Guinness Book of Records, is a British reference book published annually, listing world records both of human achievements and extremes of the natural world. The popularity of the franchise has resulted in Guinness World Records becoming the primary international source for cataloguing and verification of a huge number of world records. Over the years, lots of Nigerians have made it to the Guinness Book of World Records, including the late Fela Kuti, who holds a Guinness World Record for the most studio album recordings released. He achieved this when he recorded 46 albums as a solo artist that lasted for 23 years. Ayo Balogun, popularly known as Wizkid, has a Guinness World Record for being the artist with the first track to reach 1 billion streams on Spotify. Bose Omolayo, an athlete who achieved the Guinness World Record in 2021 when she did the heaviest power lift by a female in the -79 kg category at 144 kilograms. In 2023, Rema became the first artist to top the Middle Eastern and North African charts. With this feat, Rema set a new Guinness Book of Records. In 2006, Kefi alongside her team Imagnito made their mark in the Guinness World Record by participating in the Nokia Silverbird Dance-a-thon and setting a new record for the longest dance party. They impressively danced for an astounding duration of 55 hours and 40 minutes, solidifying their place in the record books. And recently, Hilda Baci attempted and broke the record for the longest cooking marathon by an individual. Nigerians from all walks of life took to the social media to document this feat, as she prepared several dishes over 4 days on foot, only resting for 1 hour after accumulating 12 hours of activity. The experience came with a rush of mixed emotions, not just for Hilda, but for many who trooped out to watch her break the record. Many wondered if she could achieve breaking the previous record of 87 hours and 45 minutes. But as time went on, with each passing day, Hilda was getting close to her desired destination despite the obvious fatigue and stress this brought. After the whole experience, Hilda Baci spoke exclusively to TVC News as she gave us an insight into her 5-year journey and what she went through inside the cooking booth.
Now, during the main event, I was up at 5, could barely sleep in the night because I was anxious. Now, I got to the venue at about 7:30 and everything wasn't ready and set. We had some issues with the CCTV footage that cameras we got. It wasn't picking up sound. You know, just trying to make sure that evidence was properly documented. At some point, the cubicle was shocking because there were a lot of wires, so they now had to rewire it to check where, you know, the shock was coming from. So we had a lot of issues. So, and there was a lot of press. So I got in, I did my press interviews. I was upstairs, downstairs, checking to make sure everything was fine. And because I'm anxious, I just can't wait to start. So I had already been up for 12 hours, not resting, and then I started at 4.
It's worthy to note that TVC News got interested in this story and gave it the maximum coverage required. Such activity is not easy for many who stay on their feet cooking for hours any day. So, one can understand the pressure and pain this chef went through, even overcoming a rush from her menstrual cycle owing to the stress her body went through.
It was just how willing everybody was. Everyone was so willing. It was like everybody was so willing. So at a point, I realized that I wasn't doing this for just myself. I never thought I was doing it for just myself, but at a point, it was not about me anymore. It was about every single person that was there. Because it was like, I looked at them and I'm like, these people see something in you that you like, for them to see this in you, there's something here.
In attaining any endeavor, a solid support system is important, and this, for Hilda, came in the form of her family, friends, and Nigerians who overwhelmingly supported her and gave her the needed impetus.
I did not see it in this grand global scale. And if I say, oh, I saw it this big, I would be honestly lying. You understand? You know, I just knew that, okay, this is a good initiative. It's a really amazing experience I'm trying to create. It's going to be good for my brand. It's going to be good for my legacy. And it's going to help, like, propagate Nigerians in a good light and propagate Nigerian recipes.
I feel so excited as a mother for your child to come and do that business that you did, and she's coming to do it better than you ever thought. So I feel so fulfilled at this age.
This achievement by Hilda has raised the hopes of thousands who, before now, never saw a reason to keep pushing on. Ms. Baci believes she has given women a voice just by attaining this. It might just be 100 hours and 40 minutes longest cooking marathon, but to many it is far more than that. It serves as a wake-up call to those with dreams to achieve but don't believe in themselves enough to achieve it. Thus,
Hello, blessing. And you go on my remind the video go. Ask them ye may go yo. Ask them ye may go. Ask them up a reply remind the neighbor. Egom for the neck mapu. Ima lego ne for the negom came mapu. So I know why the ego can next month, November, December. First week of December, he sent Kego Bagan Naka because of the name Diego, never asine. Where we me, Anya Kwame. And in one where got throw all your buffet got throw your bunny. I'm not make a you got chum or for new block I see. And the gum agreement is agreement go they when die pin can never remove from that money. So keep pulling no be.
Trafficking of young girls for sex work in foreign countries has become rampant and a menace to the society. While working to uncover activities of traffickers and how they use Kano in northwest Nigeria as a route for human trafficking, I observed that syndicates from other West African countries use the same route for the purpose. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, and the Nigerian Immigration Services are intensifying efforts to curtail the scourge, but the challenges the agency encounter in performing that task are enormous. Hence, the call for a law that will empower the Nigerian Immigration Service to prosecute human trafficking offenders.
The problem is that we are yet to set. The power of attorney has been given. We are yet to set the immigration legal framework that will administer this process, which will be an alternative to the civil courts. So I think it will be unrealistic if we cannot use that chance given to us in the Immigration Act, of which we have the lawyers in the immigration.
Those who are suffering, who are doing things that they didn't plan to go there, who are being forced into prostitution, into carrying drugs, into hard labors.
I met with Favor, who was trafficked to Ghana at the age of 14. She was impregnated and repatriated to Nigeria by the International Organization of Migration, IOM, at 16 and became a mother at 17. Her story is that of a bright, brave child whose determination gave her the opportunity to escape from the traffickers' den, where she was coerced into selling her body for a living by her mistress, simply known as Mama G.
She told us everything. She separated us from each other. She sent the other two girls to where they'll be working. So I stayed with her for a month before she told me that she can't be feeding me every day with her own money. So I have to do what brought me to Ghana. So like I was pleading with her when she told me that I'm not coming to school anywhere, that is prostitution, and I'm going to work and pay her the amount of 150,000 before I can work and gain my own money. So I was pleading with her, but she refused. I have no other option because that place is bush. Before we get to the main road side, it's very hard and difficult for us. So I have no other option than to do it. The day I work, I give her the money. If she likes, she'll give me the one that I'll use and eat. Sometimes she don't give.
Armed with this information, I decided to embark on the journey to Bandits Kwanta in the northern part of Ghana. It was a very long and scary journey, but motivated by curiosity to have a fair idea of what it takes to be trafficked, I embarked on this journey. Traveling to Ghana by air was smooth, but using a Nigerian credit or debit card to move around the West African country was difficult. This is despite the fact that there are many Nigerian banks operating in the country, and it is a member of the Economic Community of West African States (ECOWAS). I risked it all by using the available dollars with me to connect to a flight to Tamale in the northern part of Ghana. What seems like 1 hour trip would have taken about 9 hours by road. I began to ponder on how many days it would have taken the traffickers to smuggle the girls into the country by road. From Tamale, I boarded a vehicle to Bandits Kwanta. It was like a journey of no return, as we spent more than 5 hours on the road from Tamale with the help of a map of Ghana. The driver grew weary during the trip. Apart from the mining of gold, the small community is notorious as a place where trafficked Nigerian girls sell their body for money, which many say the police and residents turned blind eyes to.
If the police people, like the immigration people, are coming over to that place, because they normally deport people if they catch them. So they work with the police. If the immigration people are coming, they will go and pay the police people, then they will pack everybody inside the cell as if they arrested us. So if they go, they'll bring us out and take their money. That was how it continued.
I got to the shanty part of the town through the back road, and just as Favor described a trafficker, I could identify Mama G almost immediately. Her voice in the audio clip earlier gave her out.
I have girls that I would like to bring that are willing to come. So I wanted to know what the details will be, what is in it for you, what is in it for me, and everybody will be happy. And how it will be seamless, that there will be no too much talk. Yes, yeah.
Me, at first I've been through the business, but I'm a Nigerian. But I have many Nigerian guests. Like, if you follow this road down, there is a lady called Smart. Okay? A lady called Smart, about, let me say, 5 madams or 6 madams are there. Maybe you can go to them too.
After posing to her like a trafficker, she admitted that she was into the business.
Me, I'm not asking. Since I know you cannot say I want no other people to connect me. Me, one is one. I don't need to. So if you say go to madams, 5 different madams, how many people I won't go? How many people I won't go meet for them?
The one saying that you work, you have done it before, not that I did it before.
But immediately I married, I stopped.
Mama G directed me to another woman who she alleged is more into the business. The woman gave me audience and told me some secrets but was not sure if I was genuine. Here in Banakwanta, Ghana, here is the place that Favor described for us as the place where she was trafficked to, all the way from Delta State, Nigeria. From observations here, we have more than 1,000 Nigerian girls here operating and used as sex slaves. Many of them wish to come back and many others are enjoying what they're doing because of this current situation in the country. Here in Banakwanta, Ghana, it was observed that many of these girls use drugs to be able to perform up to expectations.
But me that will bring them.
Okay, then I'll manage them.
Yes.
I'll help you do that. I don't have problem. Because that one I charge 20 million per girl. Take care of them. That's 2,000.
20 million per girl.
Yes, 2,000 Ghana cedis.
For how long?
It depends. They are nice. I don't know. Sometimes good ones can take them 4 months. Some take 5 months, some take a year, some take 7.
It was an encounter that brought me face to face with the realities of trafficked girls, though the women claimed that some of the girls willingly came to the spot to hustle.
Like me, I do daily contribution. Even my value, I do daily contribution. So many people, some of who are madams, girls who come from over here, there are people who just come on their own. You understand?
There was little or nothing I could do on the spot to salvage the situation, as I was just a journalist striving to tell the sad stories of the trafficked girls. As I returned to Nigeria after several sleepless nights, I wonder what it would take to eradicate the growing trend of human trafficking. Advocates of the fight against irregular migration highlight how unsuspecting youth become the biggest victims.
So we advise our community, our youths, and whoever that is traveling for a greener pasture, unauthorized, should not do so because there is high risks. You cannot travel to uncertainty area where there is no security. And if you go there in the overseas, if you don't have entry permit, you don't have working permit, you are at a very high risk. They dehumanize you, number one, and then they will give you very low pay at the expense of your skill. You may have a very high skill. They will use you and give you low pay because you are unauthorized. And at the end of it, you end up not achieving what you want. So it is better for you to remain in your country, contribute to your community, and it's safer to be here. And if at all there is the need for you to even travel to overseas, then you have to go as an authorized traveler. So it affects our community seriously. And it encourages insecurity because most of the people that travel and come back, you find that they are creating problems. It's setting the boys, polluting their mind, going into unnecessary illegal activities. So they are not helping the community at all. Yes, I met with one girl that she went to overseas. When reaching there, in fact, she was even encouraged to travel alone. That somebody is there at the airport to receive her. Took her to where she would stay. Immediately he entered, he collected her passport. He said, "Look, you are not here for any work. You are here to prostitute." Then he called some other men, including himself. They raped her there. And that if she messes up, this is her passport. They will either kill her or they will call authority to deport her immediately. So she has to do prostitution to recover their money before they will allow her to go back to her own country. So the girl was telling me her experience.
While poverty is one of the biggest drivers of human trafficking, the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria is pegged at 20 million by the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. Favor, who is now 17 years old, is desperate to go back to school. Despite the setback, she hopes to become a lawyer someday. She recalls that her mother knew she was giving her away to be trafficked, according to Favor. Mama G and her mother deceived her into believing that the purpose of her travel was to continue a secondary school education in Ghana.
Yes, I want to go back to school. I want to become something, a future, something that would make me feel happy every day. And not what to make me think of my past.
While the United Nations develops policy to help countries attain the Sustainable Development Goal on Education (SDG 4), Favor hopes to get assistance to return to school. Advocates hope that Kano trafficking routes will be checked, while those seeking greener pastures will carefully consider their choice, while the girls trafficked to Ghana, Libya and other parts of the world struggle to pay their traffickers to become free or escape from their dens. Getting help from the Nigerian government or international community seems hopeless.
Up next, ladies and gentlemen, Chisholm.
It's not the same as my legacy will not die. It's so simple, like living every moment to the full. I'll be overloading your plan. All this life I day, I want to be celebrating. Tell me what you need from me now. I know what you need from me now. Send from heaven to you, baby. I can go the distance.
Sunday on Nigerian Idol. Proudly sponsored by Techno and Biggie for every moment to work.
And Speaker, House of Representatives. National Industrial Court Abuja orders arrest of Inspector General of Police Alkali Baba and AIG Inua for disobeying court order. Outside Nigeria, former President of the United States, Donald Trump, makes first appearance in the federal court in Miami. And in sports, Osime arrives camp. Super Eagles hold second tactical training session ahead of AFCON qualifier against Sierra Leone. Thanks for joining us on TVC News at 7, reaching you live from our Abuja studio, where we're monitoring events across the globe. We begin in Nigeria's capital city of Abuja, where Senator Godswill Akpabio is now the president of the 10th National Assembly. The former governor defeated Senator Abdulaziz Yari to emerge the new Senate president earlier today. Senator Akpabio was returned elected as president of the 10th Senate after scoring 63 votes, defeating Senator Yari, who had 46 votes. Also, the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas emerged Speaker of the House of Representatives. In his acceptance speech, the Speaker promised to spearhead reforms that will assist in tackling insecurity as well as other challenges facing the country. TVC News National Assembly correspondent Sijesu Adeoye in the Senate and Kadisa at the House of Representatives report that the election was largely free and fair. Well, we'll bring you details of that story subsequently. Let's talk now to Senator of the 10th Senate, Senator Ibrahim Yahya, or rather Senator Salisu Shoaib Afolabi, who represents Ogun Central Senatorial District at the 10th National Assembly. Congratulations on your inauguration.
Thank you so much.
So it was an interesting development today on the floor of the Senate. I was there myself, and the anxiety was palpable, especially at the point when the votes were being counted. Were you apprehensive yourself that the election could have gone the other way?
Well, let me say this. First and foremost, let me congratulate Nigeria and Nigerians for the progress we have recorded in our democratic journey. This is the 10th Senate, and also this is the 7th transition from one government to the other in the 4th Republic. So what happened today in both chambers of National Assembly, for me, represent a big leap forward in our democratic experience. So coming back to a question, of course, if you run for an election, you will be apprehensive. But let me say this very clearly. Those of us who believe that Senator Akpabio was and remains the best fit for the position of the President of the Senate, we didn't have so much anxiety because we thought we had the numbers, because we also thought vast majority of the senators, particularly both the new ones and the returning ones, wanted a president of the Senate that could do some level of balancing and douse the tension that characterized the 2023 general election, particularly those attributes that seem to have exacerbated our fault lines along the religious and ethnic lines.
So you agree that it wasn't quite an overwhelming victory if you compare it with
it was figure
that
it wasn't quite. I mean, and I must say this, it also showed how robust the 10th Senate would be. People had positions, but at the end of the day, what you could notice is that both the newly elected Senate President and the major contender, Senator Blase Jari, they embraced themselves
and exchanged
pleasantries. So there's one Senate, one Nigerian Senate working for Nigerians. Yes, the context was tough. Yes, the context was
we'll see how that will play out in the coming days. Senator Akpabio had only 8 votes more than the simple majority needed to emerge, so it could have gone the other way. But the big question will be,
he had 17 votes difference.
Yes, so he had 63. Right?
He gets 46.
And then 46. So you can be sure that if Senator Yari had about 8 more lawmakers who decided to vote on his path, it would have gone a different way. But talk to us about what actually happened today. Was that party supremacy or popular majority?
Both. Party supremacy and popularity as well. Party supremacy in the sense that nobody had gone to the Senate as an independent candidate. And even the most advanced democracy, the party will have a say in who will become the presiding officers. We saw it play out in the United States Congress of recent. And we also saw that sitting presidential candidates of major political parties in the United States, they will endorse candidates of their party, even in the primaries, openly. How much more when the party has majority either in the Senate or in the Congress? So number one is party supremacy. And party supremacy because the party as a whole provide a platform. And the party will also ensure that there's a balancing to ensure that every part of the country has a sense of belonging. The second part of it as well is that when you also look at Senator Akpabio, he was once a Senate minority leader. Okay? He was the most ranking from the southern part of the country at this point in time. And he has also demonstrated ability. He was commissioner for several years in the state. He was governor. He had been a senator before. So he has come with a pack of experience. And his program appeared to be, in any case, as we'll say, the Senate cannot be oblivious of the sentiments that are rather very passive in the country. And therefore the senators also made up their mind to say, this party made a very good decision and they go in line with that decision, and that's what they play out today. But at the end of the day, there's only one Nigerian Senate.
Now that the leadership of both chambers are supposedly loyal to the ruling party, some will say the legislature will now, work harmoniously with the executive. But there's the fear that you and your colleagues don't become another rubber stamp.
A number of people think the metric to measure performance of
or effectiveness of a legislator is how antagonistic the legislature is to the executive arm of government. That cannot be correct. We have been elected on the platform of the same political party. There was a party manifesto, there was a party agenda, and therefore we all campaign on the basis of that. And for as long as there's a meeting of mind on those issues and those programs, there's absolutely no reason to be unnecessarily antagonistic. However, if there are also genuine reasons for the Senate or the House of Representatives, for that matter, to disagree with Mr. President or the same branch of government, we will do. And you're going to say that in the third Senate. This Senate, for instance, has about 70% of people who are newcomers, people who do not carry the baggage